Welcome to the Strong Youth Project, where our mission is to improve organized sport experiences for youth, parents, coaches, and other mentors via education and evidence-based practice. Welcome to the Strong Youth Project podcast. As we work to improve organized youth sport experiences, we will share insights from both scientific research and real-life experiences. Although we will present evidence-based information from the highest quality scientific sources, we also recognize the value of firsthand experience shared directly from athletes, coaches, and parents. These experiences may not always align perfectly with scientific research, yet we believe they still offer important insights into how best to effectively facilitate the many benefits youth sports can offer.
Okay, so today on our Strong Youth Project, we have Callie Floyd, which is super exciting. She's been with the Strong Youth Project since the very beginning. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been one of the OG members, so it's great to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So Callie, you are graduating this semester, right?
Yeah, in like 4 days on Friday, so.
Okay, super fun. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited. I'm ready for the next steps. I'll be starting PT school at Texas Tech in Maine, so it's just crazy to be at this point already, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, super fun. So we're excited to see how your journey goes, and I'm excited to hear about your work with the Strong Youth Project. So we've heard that you've worked with some character development. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been working on this project for the past 9 months now. It's been part of my senior capstone because I'm a dance major here at BYU, so kind of funny to be involved in this project, but yeah. It's been really cool. I've gotten to work with Dr. John B. White from Baylor and also Janae Nelson, which is in the psychology department here. And we've been creating this character development program. I knew from my capstone that I really wanted to integrate everything I've been doing in the dance department as well as with the Strong Youth Project. Yeah. And so we've created this project that's brought both those worlds together. It's been really cool to see.
Okay, well, we're excited to hear about it. Before we get into that, is there anything else that you would like to introduce to our podcast viewers? Let them know about you.
Yeah, I've been part of the Strong Youth Project for a long time, as y'all have heard. And I've danced for 17 years, so that's been my main sport. And I kind of got brought onto the project by one of my good friends, Blakely. And it's just funny how God puts you in the right places at the right time. He was in one of my classes for one day. We talked about the project, and he sent me over to Sealy, and then I was in the first meeting the next day.
Okay.
And now we're here 3 years later, so.
Yeah, so exciting. And I'm sure you've learned a lot along the way. So
yeah, we have, for sure.
Cool. That's kind of what I love about the Strong Youth Project is integrating all of our sports, right? So you're a dance major, but we have so many others sports that are involved. And so I think that is super cool. So what has been your biggest takeaway from the Strong Youth Project these past 3 years?
When I first joined the project, there was a huge emphasis on this early sports specialization. Mm-hmm. And that was just something that stuck with me because when I was younger, I started with dance really early on. I did dancing for 17 years now. And I had also tried other sports like soccer, volleyball, or swimming, and it just always was pushed that you had to choose which sport you were going to do super early on. I really loved all these different sports I was in, but once it started hitting early or late elementary school, early middle school, they were like, no, you have to special on this team. And I remember this one experience where I was on this volleyball team and it was my friend's dad that was a coach. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. A great way for me to start learning about the sport. And he starts hitting all these balls and he's like, oh, just catch the ball. Turns out I needed glasses. And so that's the whole reason I wasn't able to even play. Yeah. But it was just, it kind of stuck with me that I thought I wasn't able to play any other sports. I thought that dance was the only thing I could do. And I love dance. I'm so grateful I've gotten to do it for so long. But I wasn't able to try all these other sports. And there's times that kids would be playing them at recess or just out on the park for fun. And I'd sit back because I didn't think I was an athlete in that way. And I was like, oh, this is not a realm for me to touch. And now being part of the Strong Youth Project, I see how that's the opposite of true. I'm working on this character development project. There's a dance professor we're working with named Keely Glenn. Mm-hmm. And one thing she's been emphasizing the whole semester is that dance is for everyone. And I feel that about every sport. Athletics is for everyone. Yeah. And that's a huge push that we have at the Strong Youth Project too. And so that's just something that's really stuck with me is that sports are for everyone. Dance is for everyone. Athletics are for everyone. And we shouldn't be making these kids through early sports specialization feel like they can't participate in these sports, because we're trying to make physically active adults, not just kids here, but lifelong changes in these kids.
Yeah, oh, totally. And have you seen those lifelong changes like in your life and those that you've been working with throughout this character development?
There's been a few experiences that I've seen kids starting to learn how to have fun in sports again. I got the opportunity when I first started the project, like in the winter, to go to Shooter Soccer Club working with Justin Lee, and we started this conditioning program with these athletes, with the soccer kids, and just trying to get them stronger so they were better equipped for when the season started, that they weren't getting as many injuries and stuff because they had the strength build up. And there was a lot of these kids that you could tell like they weren't thinking themselves as the top players on the team. And when we started doing these exercises, they weren't keeping up as much. And so you'd see them start to slack off, sit back, and just kind of take themselves down versus what they were actually able to capably do.
Yeah.
And so I started doing things like, oh, look at Johnny over there. That's an amazing plank. Everyone try to do your plank like Johnny, and looking for these kids that were holding back versus being fully involved. And I started seeing a change in these kids, that everyone was really involved in these exercises. Everyone was having a fun time versus it just being focused on these star players that often happens.
Oh, totally. Totally plays into that psychology part that you were talking about. Do you feel like that has been like a really, I'm trying to think of the right words for this. Do you feel like that's been something that you've seen a lot of growth in, more so the psychology side of things, like, you know, playing to their strengths and then seeing them take that, run with it, and progress a lot?
Yeah, I think that with sports, we often focus on the physical, getting physically stronger and how these sports are affecting the body, but we don't think of like the mental changes that's happening by these kids being involved in sports. Because being in sports, just with that team dynamic and working towards a goal, you're naturally growing character through it. But once you change the focus that it's on the winning and the achievement and just being the best athlete out there versus who you can become through the sport, it creates this huge shift that the kids aren't enjoying the sport as much anymore, and they're more just so stressed and worried about being the best one out there. I know being in dance, there was many times like as a kid I had anxiety attacks. I know friends that had a lot of anxiety attacks, but it was nothing that was ever really talked about because it was like that this is just what the sport is. You're supposed to put everything into it, and you're supposed to be the best one out there so you can win first place at this competition. But coming to college, it's been a lot more of a focus on dancing for joy and finding that experience that brings the most out of it for you and how you feel physically best in your body. And that's honestly changed the whole world of just movement, dance, everything athletics for me, that I've been able to see how much more mental it is for not just me, but for others as well.
Oh, yeah, totally. I feel like I've kind of seen that shift as well, like whether it's in our media or just like kind of this overall like mindset shift the past few years that's focusing more on like the overall wellness and the excitement. Like, let's enjoy our activity. Let's not punish ourselves with activity, but actually have fun. And do you feel like you've seen that shift like with the athletes you've worked with and even with yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's cool the time that the Strong Youth Project came around because, as you said, it's been a common shift in the media to be focused on more wellness.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Strong Youth Project kind of started right before that peak began.
Yeah.
And so we got to kind of build this community together. And now we're able to take all this information that we've gathered over the past few years and really spread it to the public. And we've had so many people reaching out and wanting to be involved in this project, and it's just cool to see how much it's grown from where we started.
Oh, totally. And are you planning to take this kind of like mindset, and how are you going to implement that as you go to PT school?
I'm hoping to help people to realize how much of recovery is not just physical but mental.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a huge battle a lot of people have, is they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not performing like I used to. This injury has set me totally back. And a lot of people think they can't return to their sport after their injury, and that's totally not the case. You see so many cases where these top athletes get injured, and then through continuing in that sport, they actually become better and can become stronger. Like even with Ben Barton on our Strong Youth Project, like he's gone and won all these awards now after having some pretty major injuries that he was going through for a while. So I think just that attitude that your injuries aren't holding you back, but they can actually help you to find your weaknesses and become stronger and become better through that.
Totally. Definitely that. I remember my mom went to physical therapy for a little bit, and I went with her, and it was kind of cool, kind of the same focus, just on like that mental, like, let's achieve, let's get better, let's become stronger. And they would post like pictures of their patients after they overcame their injury and they were doing these cool things. And I just feel like that is totally kind of what you're doing and going forward in that positive mindset. And I'm excited to see how that goes for you. That is so exciting. So is there anything that you have been like surprised about or you're super passionate about that you weren't expecting to be when you first started the Strong Youth Project?
I didn't expect to love research as much as I did.
Okay.
It was like when I first got asked to be part of the project, I was like, this is great. Like, it's going to look so good on grad school applications. Yeah. Didn't really think much past it. But once we started getting into it, really reading through the scientific literature and then finding projects that we were passionate about, it was a really cool process to go from the starting phase of that project to seeing it be created. And you also learn a lot through the research process. There was originally a project that I had created and started that we were looking at how jumping biomechanics are affected with ACL injury and how we can use internal and external cues to help reduce the risk of ACL injury. We never got to do that project because SYP honestly grew way faster than I think we expected it to.
Yeah.
And so we focused more on the project that was talked about with Pete in the last episode. Yeah. And I got to work really heavily on that project. And it was cool just to be part of that. And we thought we'd have this whole scientific question going in, and then the results ended up completely differently, but they're still super effective. And when you look into research, there's not a lot out there for resources for normal, like everyday people. There's a lot that's great for scientists and everyone, but having resources for like coaches specifically and the everyday population, there's not a lot. And so it's been fun to finally start to help in the process of creating those sources so that the general public can get this scientific knowledge as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that is so awesome. I love that you mentioned research. I think that is so important. And that's also what I love about SYP is we're totally research-based, right?
Yeah.
And so you've been able to be part of a couple of projects. Is that right? What has been like your favorite project that you've worked on?
I think the character development one I'm doing right now, it's just such a different aspect of sport that I didn't expect to ever really focus in. This project came because I needed something for my capstone to bring together both dance and SYP because that's what I really wanted to do. And Sealy started talking to me about this Y Sport initiative that they were doing with John and Janae. And I loved the idea of it and wondered what would happen if we took this same Y Sport camp and implemented it into the dance camps that are already set at BYU.
Yeah.
And so we're taking this curriculum that John and Janae are working on. John's done so many different camps like this, but this is just kind of a different one working with dancers. Yeah. Because a lot of times people argue that dance isn't a sport. I'll always be the belief that dance is a sport because you're being physically active and there is that competition aspect of it as well. But taking this curriculum that he's created, implementing character and seeing how you can greater grow character through sport and applying it specifically for dancers. We're focusing on principles of play, identity, and purpose. Okay. And then have professors Marin Roper and Kelly Glenn from the dance department that are creating a movement integration based on this curriculum we're creating. Okay. So it's just really cool because then we take this curriculum and we're teaching it to these mentors that are our age, like college-age students that are dancers. And then they're going to be the ones that are helping to teach these participants at the dance camps, as well as taking in, hopefully implementing into their studio practice and stuff. The research obviously will be focused mostly just on the dance camp participants, but it's just cool to create this project that it's not just this one thing and it's done. Like this is something that's going to keep growing. We're hoping to implement it into more dance camps in the future, and it's just cool to see something that's going to be lasting that hopefully can leave a little impact on BYU. So it's fun.
Definitely. And something you're so passionate about.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
exciting. So I'd love to hear, what does this curriculum look like?
Yeah, so we have those three principles, play, identity, and purpose. We have a 2-day workshop that we're doing with these mentors. We've had like 12 to 15 mentors sign up from the dance department and across BYU that are dancers. And they'll be coming, and John will be teaching over Zoom and Janae in person about these three principles of character development and then how that integrates into being an athlete and being a mover. And then you have Keely and Marin that will take this and create this movement curriculum that the dancers get to physically embody what they're learning. Because
Okay.
if you know dancers, we're not the type that can just sit still in class. Like, we
Yes.
have to get up and move and kind of see, like, okay, how does this apply into my body? And so
Yeah.
getting to have that movement integration really helps this curriculum to solidify in the dancers. And then after those 2 days are done, we'll have a devotional the next week for them to come and ask questions and just really feel set on what they learned. And then in June, the Monday evening of the camps, there will be an hour that these camp counselors, as well as Keely and Marin, get to teach this curriculum that they learned to the dancers. It'll be a lot quicker because it's only an hour compared to the 8 hours they had. But they get to create this overall movement experience, teach it to these dancers, and hopefully have a little impact on them that makes this camp and hopefully the rest of their dancing lives a little bit better.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And you said this is happening in June.
Yeah.
Okay, very fun. So is sign up still going on? Is it done?
Yeah, people can still sign up to be counselors, and we're starting to go through applications right now, but we're going to probably keep it open for like another week or two and then start solidifying who we have coming.
Okay,
So.
that's exciting. So fun. And then is this for all dancers of all ages, younger?
So for the mentors, it's mostly collegiate age, so anyone like in their undergrad, grad right now for college, but
Okay, exciting. And then for our athletes, is that like high school age kids? Is that also collegiate?
they're going to be more middle school, high school. It's
Okay.
like 12 to 18-year-olds for
That's
the camps.
exciting.
So
Which is our focus. So
Exactly.
that is so exciting.
Exactly.
Super fun. Well, I'm excited to see how that goes for you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
I'm just so grateful for the experience I've gotten to have at SYP. I didn't expect to have this be such an integral part of my BYU experience, but it really has been. It's a project I feel like I think about daily, and whenever I'm working with athletes and stuff, thinking about their holistic well-being versus just who they are as a mover and an athlete and an achiever, but their purpose within sport and the person that they can become by continuing to be involved in their sport. And movement is just so important. Movement is medicine. And I believe that if we can continue to keep improving the youth athlete experience, bringing that play back into it, that we're going to have more physically active adults and people that are happier and healthier for a whole lifetime. And so SYP is super important. There's a lot of good things going on here. It's just so cool to see how much this project has grown. Like, even just having a podcast, like, this is crazy. I remember first creating the Instagram a couple of years ago, and it just starting with little simple reels that we took templates from.
Yeah.
But now seeing where it's grown and how all the experts that we're able to bring in and just how many people this project has impacted.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool to see. So I'm grateful I've gotten to be part of this and hope to continue to be part of it for many years to come.
Yeah.
So
That is so exciting. And I love that you said movement is medicine. I think that's so awesome. We've seen that change in people's lives. Like you said, that character development, that psychology side, but also that physical side. Super, super exciting. We're excited to see how it goes for you and just all that you're able to accomplish. It's going to be great.
thank you. It's been so fun to be here.
Well, thank you. We're happy to have you.